Get started here in just a few more minutes. We're gonna wait for a few more people to jump on. Hope everybody's having a productive what is today? Shoot, Thursday. I guess that means tomorrow's Friday. So we're on a good track here. So we're doing good. What's up, Mr. Darren? How you doing, brother? Started here in just a few more minutes. Got a little Tool playing in the background for you guys. I don't know if you listen to that new album, but it's pretty sweet. And shout out to Mr. Ben Northcutt for taking me and the Devil Pup along with Doc Rannigan to the concert. Silly. Such a good time. You guys hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up, like it, say something. Well, I guess that means that must be Doc Rannigan right there. Anyways, welcome everybody. We're going to do a little Thursday afternoon Facebook live session here. Mr. Doc Rannigan came up with this idea. He's the head of our education and motivation. So along with last week's discussion, we came up with this week's discussion, which is going to be trusting in the process, basically. So I want you guys to follow along. I made some slides here so you don't have to look at my ugly face the whole time. So we'll go ahead and get started. So a little bit about me. I'm the owner of Black Level AV. We're a veteran-owned and operated audio visual company. I'm the chair, your current chair for the Rockwall Veterans Business Alliance, finance officer for the Legion Post here. Spent 4 years in the Marine Corps, Operation Enduring Freedom, Iraqi Freedom. Actually, Doc Ranigan and I spent some time together overseas. It was a good time. So I have a background in operations and project management. I spent, let's start with the Marine Corps career, 4 years as a communications specialist, i.e. field radio operator. So after I got out of the Marine Corps, I worked and found my way into the low voltage world, which, as I understood that the audio visual world was going to be something I wanted to make a career in, I immediately started focusing. My primary goal was to lead companies and be in operations and project management. So I was able to successfully, manage over $20 million worth of projects for high-end custom home automation systems, as far as the East Coast in Key West, all the way as far west as the last island in Hawaii. So that was cool. Once I decided to get out, I just kind of engulfed myself in the industry, learning whatever I could, everything from OSHA training to PMP project management training, industry specific knowledge, etc. So just wanted to give you a little background on me as to why this is so important for me and why I think it's also so important for other business owners that are either starting out or have been in business a long time, and explain the importance of processes within your business. So moving forward, we're going to go over a few different things today: attitude, perspective, and implementation. And I like to call those mindset, vision, and action. And here's a couple of things, right? Your attitude or your mindset is a position assumed for a specific purpose. The perspective is the capacity to view things in their true relations or relative importance. Implementation is a tool or utensil or a piece of equipment specifically used for a particular purpose. And when put into a plan, a decision needs to be followed by action. So those three things are going to kind of guide us through today's discussion here. We may go 15 minutes, we may go 30 minutes, but I won't keep you guys too long here. I just hope that you can take something away from the information I'm going to give you guys. So attitude, and attitude is a big component of how you run your business, whether that's the way you look at your business, the way you perform in your business, the way that you perform with your clients. Attitude is essentially your mindset. So, here in this slide, I've kind of documented some of the details we'll go over. We can read through these. I'm going to skim through these. I'll be able to share this slide with you guys too at the end of the day if you want it. So the mindset towards your process in your business speaks volumes, especially with how you deal with your day-to-day, how you carry out and manage your processes within your business is extremely important. So if you have the attitude that processes within your company and in your business are not important, I totally disagree with you 110%. I'm sure some of the folks that are watching here will do the same. So when I refer to the word attitude, I'm talking mindset more than anything. So when you hear me say attitude, just immediately think mindset. So if you're happy or sad, that's not really what I'm talking about, because as you see on the slide there, no one really cares if you're happy or sad. What they care about is your value and your performance. So I say this to help you understand that your attitude is your responsibility and no one else's responsibility. So the processes with your the business itself carry through the day-to-day operations, but they also create excitement and opportunity for with your team. As a small business owner, we always lose sight of the big picture. As a small business owner myself, I tend to lose sight of the big picture sometimes when I'm hustling and bustling and moving and grooving, and things are just kind of going crazy. So it happens to the best of us. It happens to all of us. So, but in order to reach the goals you've set, you must have processes in place to guide you. And that key word is guide you through that. So imagine this scenario where you're going to go on a road trip, you've got everything packed, you're ready to go, you're excited, you're telling all your friends about it, and then you pull out of the driveway, you have no clue where you're going. You don't have gas in the car, you don't know how long it's going to take you to get there, you don't know where you're going. So that's how I can relate a business process to that scenario there. If you don't have a plan, which these processes are, you're bound to be lost at some point in the business. You may carry forward for a long time. Success may happen to you. You may get through the humps and the failures, but those processes are something you're going to want to stick with and revert back to guide you through, different challenges that you're going to face. So at this point, a business without processes, it doesn't matter how much excitement you have about your business. It doesn't matter how much ambition or initiative you have. It's only going to take you so far. The goal of having processes within your business is a guide. And I want to go over a couple of things with you guys here on some of the benefits that having a process. Yeah, there you go. Welcome, Brad. So change your mindset, you change your playground. Absolutely. I love it. That's my boy, Doc Rannigan right there. And he told me that a couple of years ago. And it really rang true to me. So, mindset is key. You have to be in a position to understand that you're going to have to be mentally tough when you're running your business, because going back to what I said earlier, no one really cares about your feelings in the business world except you, maybe your wife. Really what they care about is, do you provide value and do you solve a problem that your clients are needing, whatever service or business or industry you're in. So the benefits of creating the processes are laid out here, and we'll read through these together. Some of them are efficiency, fewer steps in the process that accomplish the mission, eliminating waste. And if you guys have done any training on operations or project management or anything like that, you understand that waste is a humongous issue for large businesses and even small businesses. So that's labor, that's materials, that's equipment, that's tools. If you sit down and think about all the money we spend, including myself in your own business there, on just what it costs you to run your business, your immediate solution to that, or your thought behind that, should be, I want to spend the least amount I can and make the most I can. So when you go to eliminating waste in your business, that goes from the top down, all the way from the owner to the last guy who's busting tables, or the guy that's hanging TVs, or the guy that's digging your trenches for you. It doesn't matter. So that helps you with efficiency. It also enhances productivity. So allows your team to maintain a focus-driven operation, staying on course and being able to proactively react to challenges that show up. So imagine you're in a situation where you have a process for something, but you don't remember you have that process, and you're going through day to day. If you run into that challenge, if you have those processes in place, you'll be able to revert back to that. You'll be able to stay productive while you're going through whatever that is, that challenge, that new project, that unknown realm of something you may not have done. It increases cost efficiency. I mean, you kidding me? Who doesn't want to save money as a business owner, right? All of us need that. I need that. I focus heavily on that. So I focus on only purchasing what's needed for the project plus a contingency. So I don't stock, as Black Level AV, we don't stock a ton of AV equipment. So if you come to me and say, do you have A, B, C, or D? Most likely not, because we order on a just-in-time basis and a project scope basis. So imagine a purchasing department, and I have experience with this specifically with the last company I worked with, where there was zero process in place for how they purchased. So the way it worked before I showed up was they would just phone call it into the vendor or distributor, whoever it was, saying, hey, I need a projector, a screen, this, that, the other, the whole deal. And there was zero track record of it. So there's a couple of reasons that that's a horrible freaking idea. First off is, number one, you have no track record of the money you're spending unless you reconcile your bank account every stinking week. Number two, if there's any materials, tools, equipment, etc., that you need to look back on when you purchase it for warranty, etc., you're not going to have that. So what I was able to do is go in, establish a process that identified how that company would purchase everything it purchased, from small connectors to $100,000 projectors. So it says right here in the thing, $100,000 in a year. Can you imagine, as a small business owner, let's say you have 6 or 8 employees, how much $100,000 is in wasted cost. I mean, you could employ four employees with that. You know, you could give 4 people jobs. So anyways, not to beat a dead horse, it's going to help you save money. Your customer focus and your service is another reason that processes are important. This may be the section that it either helps, excels your business, or it causes it to fail. And if you're having a issue with customer service and customer focus, you really need to go back to the drawing board, because there's not a single business out there that's the only business out there. And what I mean by that is you're not the only one in your industry. So if you don't take care of your clients, the other guy will. So having a plan on how your employees communicate, having a process on how they report back issues and project updates, the customer service plan and the customer service process is key. It's one of the biggest processes, in my opinion, that a business should have. So the other portion of that, which kind of ties into customer focus, is staff retention and morale. So we've all heard if you take care of your people, they'll take care of your clients. Anybody who's managed employees or has employees, they understand that to a T. The way you treat your employees is exactly how they're going to treat your clients. So when the employees are engaged, they're brought in to examine and even create processes, and they understand that their voice matters. Man, that's an immediate buy-in like that. They feel like they're a part of the team, they're a part of the company. So I would urge each one of you guys and gals that are out there that have employees that work for you, get them involved. You know, call them into your office or take them to lunch and just ask them how things are going. Really listen to their input, because coming from an employee in my last company where I was a vital piece of the puzzle, once I started seeing the decline in my input mattering, that's when my interest in leaving ramped up. So if you listen to your employees, they're going to tell you exactly how your business is running. So to consolidate the whole mission behind having processes in general within your company is to reduce the human error, right? So when you have a step-by-step guide on, let's say, your inventory system, you're less likely to have excess materials and product in stock. So if you don't know this, if you don't carry inventory, maybe you're a business that doesn't have tangible items. But for us who do have tangible items, you understand that anything in stock is money sitting on a shelf. So if you have things in stock, that means you need to take a look at the process of how your purchasing system is taking place and really dig deep into that to find out why you have X amount of products sitting on a shelf that's not sold to a client and installed at a client's house, because stock is money. It's as simple as that. So that kind of brings us to our next topic there, which is perspective, which is the capacity to view things in true relations or relative importance. So when we talk about perspective, we talk about, your really the how you're looking, your vision in your company. So taking a step back and looking at your company from time to time, and even often, is exactly what you should be doing as a business owner. And maybe you're not a business owner, maybe you're an ops chief, or maybe you're high up on the pecking order where you have a say-so in how things go. But we all face challenges. We all have experienced changes in our business plan. Maybe you even changed the reason why you started your company. But here's where perspective becomes important, because by taking a step back and often making a slight adjustment on what is important to you, it can yield significant changes and sometimes have the biggest impact. So listen to that again. Taking a step back and often making a slight adjustment can have the biggest impact within your business, right? If I had to change one thing about my business currently, and just being open and honest here, it would be my hiring process. I have not done a great job with it. I've found some help with some folks, and they just tend to kind of fade off and run away. And I'm a huge advocate of taking care of people who work for me, because they'll take care of me, because I've been in a situation where, candidly speaking, I just didn't feel like I was worth anything to the owner of the business. So like I mentioned before, as that starts to trend down, the care from the owner or your boss, the other person's looking at, they're increasing their attention to move out and move. So, you know, one thing someone told me a long time ago was, if you don't like where you're standing, move. Like, think about that. Small little sentence there, but if you don't like where you're standing, move. So, and that you can apply that to a lot of places in your life. But anyways, that would be my big thing. If I'm working on a process right now, it's my hiring process and my vetting process, because I'm looking for people that are in it for the long game, in it for the long term and learning. But, you know, those are changes that you make within your business, and everybody kind of makes different changes. But I urge you to be open to change. Understand that the processes that you create inside your business internally are going to change. Often they're going to evolve, but you always have to understand you must first be a student before you're a master. So that's some like Bruce Lee knowledge right there I'm going to drop on you. But if you look back at your past successes and your past failures, and you use those lessons learned to build your new processes, understand that nothing's going to come easy. The only way to perfect your processes is by putting in the work. I mean, and that's the bottom line to it. So fail again, and try again harder, right? So having a perspective or the vision to see your business in the big picture, step back and then break that down into smaller process will allow you to adjust and redirect fire when you see ways you can improve. And you should always be looking for ways to improve. There's not a day that goes by that I don't ask myself, okay, within this process that I have, where can I take some steps out and still get me to that same goal, but not compromise quality whatsoever? If you look at it from that point of view, I guarantee you'll be able to shave off a handful of steps within a process, but still reach your goal. So I want you to ask yourself, one thing while we're sitting here on this slide. What's one thing you can identify within your business currently that you can change or improve on your operations? What do you guys think? I'm looking over here. Thanks for joining us, Withrow. Appreciate you, brother. I'm looking at the comments here. Love the engagement. One thing you can identify in your business currently that you can change to improve your operations. The other question is, at this moment in your business, what is the one process you feel you are missing that's just completely not there, or that you have and is weak and needs to be looked at? If you're watching this video right now, I want you to write that down right stinking now. We can go back to how you're going to fix that in a little bit, but big questions. Those big questions with slight adjustments can have tremendous impacts on your business there. So, you know, we got the old cliche that the actions speak louder than words. And as silly as it sounds, I live by it. I could really give two hoots about who or what says anything to me. I want to see how they act, how they react, and their actions. I teach that to my son on a daily basis. Tell him it doesn't matter what you say, it's only what you do. So bringing us to our next slide here is implementation. This is the action tab. So implementation is a tool, utensil, or piece of equipment especially used for a particular purpose. When you put that into a plan, decision, or something along those lines, you must follow it up with action. So we've talked about our mindset, which is our attitude. We've talked about our perspective, which is our vision. Now we have to talk about taking and wrapping those two things up, taking that data and then putting action to it. You can talk all day long. You can write stuff on paper all day long. You can tell your team they matter all day long. But if there's no action after that, you're going to lose tremendous support. You're going to lose, morale's going to decline. People are going to start telling themselves, I don't know why I even say anything. I don't even know why I bring up my ideas, because it goes nowhere. That's the last thing you want as an employee. Absolutely. And that's the last thing you want as an employer, for your employees to feel that way. So implementation here, we're going to talk about some action. When you fail, you need to take a minute and find out exactly what's going on with that. You need to absorb that lesson and identify exactly where you failed and implement a fix in that process. And you got to keep doing this over and over and over until you get it right. And if you need help with some of these things, there's a handful of guys and gals that are running around the RVBA that are much more successful than me, that have all kinds of knowledge. This is one of the best groups I've probably ever been in my life, with the exception of the Marine Corps. And I can't stress that enough. I mean, my leadership team alone are tremendous, and we couldn't do this without any of them. So ask for help. You know what I'm saying? It's there and it's around you. And if you surround yourself in a group of winners, you're going to be in good shape. If you're surrounding yourself with guys and gals that are standing outside the liquor store on a Friday hanging out chilling, you're in the wrong circle. You need to put yourself in a position where the people in the room are already leveled up past you. If you need to be the one person in the room that's always learning. Take one thing away from every conversation you can have. So invest the time clearly to understand that failure, and take the proper time to find a solution. I'll give you here's something that I found, and I've actually done this myself in my business. Rushed through a problem because I had 20 other things going on in my head, and I didn't really stop to identify that problem like I'm telling you to do here. And I just I made it work. You know what I mean? I just kind of adapted, I overcame, and I made it work. But then that problem reared its head again months later, but on a significantly different scale, much larger scale. That larger scale cost me a little bit of money. So if you rush through a problem because you have other things going on in that moment, or you don't have a solution for it, the problem or failure, I guarantee you, will come back, and it's going to come back twice. It's going to come back in a double-headed monster. It's going to eat your lunch. So read something out as I was putting this stuff together here. It takes 10,000 days to become an expert. And I'll break this down for you here on this slide. 416 24-hour days, 833 12-hour days, 1,666 6-hour days. So I want you to ask yourself, how much time have you invested into the processes that run your business operations? Anything less than 6 hours a day, I know that's a crazy number or whatever, but if you're working and thinking every single day while you're running your business about your processes, you can shave that down, and maybe all of us will be an expert at something one of these days. But 10,000 days, that's a long day. So, I put those numbers together just so you can kind of understand the importance of spending time working on your business and working on the processes inside of your business. So, you can have the right attitude. You can understand the importance of those processes to your business. You can have a clear perspective on how those processes benefit your daily operations, but really that's only half the battle. If you don't implement or put action to address the changes that are necessary to keep your business lean and mean, all of this stuff is for nothing. So if you don't have a process, and I'm not saying all of us have the most perfect processes in the world, but if you don't have processes within your business, man, you really got to reconsider how you're doing business. And you may be successful without them, but that won't last forever. I promise you, from managing millions and millions of dollars of high-end AV companies, processes and operations and project management, you're always going to find one in there that can fix that needs to be fixed or has too many steps. And when I say lean and mean, I'm talking financially, I'm talking with your processes, I'm talking with the people that you have. Take a look at the process on how you hire. Take a look at the process on how you receive and inbound and outbound equipment. Take a look at your payroll process. Does that process have too many people involved? Does that process have too much investment? There's other options. So the key point here is the action part, is by starting to think, how much time do I invest in my company and in the processes that run my company? So you see that little thing there that says fail again, fail better. Man, failure has been the key in my life, just in general. Crazy. Excuse me. So moving on, here's the thing I want you to do. And this is a silly little thing that's something that's stuck with me for many, many years. And I call it the stop, drop, and roll effect. And you can remember this one because we've been taught this one since we were kiddos, right? So if you identify a process within your company that's failing, I want you to try this method: stop, drop, and roll. You should consider a failure in your business as an opportunity to learn. in my circle, the guys that I lean upon, we don't use the word fail. We use the word learn. So we never talk about failures. We never talk about that word itself. We always talk about learning, because at the end of the day, you got to learn from your failures or you're just going to repeat them over and over. So here it is. I'll break it down for you real quick. You can read through this as well. But when you experience and identify a failure, follow these steps. This may or may not be logical in every sense of the word when you come down to your daily operations, but if you can try to implement this to your best efforts, I guarantee you this is going to help you. So first, you got to stop. Stop what you are, where you are, what you're doing immediately, even if it's for 5 minutes. Clearly identify that problem and write it down, whether that's on a stinking sticky note or the back of your paperwork you're working on or whatever. Write it down. Two things it does for you is it changes your attitude, which is your mindset on the importance of that failure. If you just run right through it and you keep moving forward and you make it work, like I gave you the example I did earlier, it's going to come back, right? So changes your mindset, and then plus it puts the situation in perspective. It allows you to think about how you can alter or fix that process. So immediately, when you identify that there's a failure that's taking place or an issue that's costing you time, money, or you stress, you have to stop. You got to just stop for a minute and just think about that. Write it down. Even if you go back to it in the evening, just go back to it in the evening and sit at home and think through it or whatever. But that's the first step. Once you've clearly defined the issue, which is step one, stopping, you're defining what's going on. Now you must identify the solution to that problem. Why did we fail and how do we fix it? In this evaluation, you should be looking to drop the unnecessary steps in the process. Like I mentioned before, every business does this. You can go through project management, professional certification. You can go through whatever it is that you need to. Oh, sorry. Any of these things that you see on a high level training or certification platform is going to tell you to eliminate the waste, right? So you got to drop the unnecessary steps. You should always be asking yourself through your daily, without compromising quality, are there any steps in this process that can be removed and still achieve the same or better quality? When I say drop steps, I'm not saying take out things to cut corners. I'm not saying take out the steps to get there quicker. I'm thinking of the process itself and how many steps does it take me to get to my quality expectations, and can I remove any of those without compromising that quality? So we've stopped, we've identified the failure, we've dropped the unnecessary steps in that, and then we're going to roll out the new process immediately. Do not hesitate to make this change within your company. If you find a failure, you fix a failure, and then you wait 6 months to implement that process change, you're just increasing the long-term result of that failure another 6 months, another 30 days, 60 days, whatever it may be. So you have to roll out the process immediately. Don't hesitate to make changes in your business that will allow you to keep moving forward, even if they're uncomfortable. Many of you may know and have heard this from me in the past, that me personally, Jeff Skinner, I find that uncomfortable situations are where real change takes place for me. So that may be something you guys can take with you, that true change comes in uncomfortable situations. I live by this because I know within myself that complacency kills. And having fallen victim to that in the past with my own personal demons, with my own laziness, with my own willingness to compromise my happiness by working for other people, that's not something you want to do. So stop what you're doing when you see the failure. Take 5 minutes and write it down. Change your attitude, put it in perspective, drop the unnecessary steps that are not needed, but you still maintain your absolute best quality, and then roll out that change immediately. If that means that you have to sit down and bring your team in, maybe not right then at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but 7:30 tomorrow morning, that is a step that you as a business owner should take to make sure that the whole company has buy-in on this process change immediately. Getting some good wow, we're getting a lot of comments here. I'm gonna go back through these comments here in a little bit and you know, respond to them, but I appreciate the engagement for sure. What's one of your biggest failures that you've learned the most from? That's a good question. Biggest failure I've learned the most from. I think my biggest failure was probably my personal life. As many of you may know, when you see me out, you don't see me drinking. I've been sober for 13 years. So my biggest failure was allowing drugs and alcohol to wrap me up in the life of addiction and really just take control of my whole being and my whole purpose. So my biggest failure was becoming an alcohol and a drug addict. But the thing I learned the most from that is that I didn't need that to be who I am. And in fact, I'm a better person. I'm a better father, a better husband, a better friend, because I don't need that stuff. Not saying or passing any judgment on anybody who drinks. It's my decision. I got sober for me. So my biggest failure was becoming an alcoholic, but then making the decision to stop, figuring out what the problem was, change my mindset, take the perspective on what my process in life was, dropping those unnecessary steps, completely removing those, and then building up the quality and rolling out that new process for my life immediately. And I'm telling you, by the graces of God, I stopped drinking overnight after been drinking for 20 something years, started as a young kid. So yeah, that's a great question, man. I don't really share that too much with a lot of folks. And, you know, people ask me from time to time, want a beer? I'm like, I'll take a root beer, but you know, anyways, so moving on to that right there. If there's one thing I want you to take away from after, you know, doing this now, take away from this slide and this presentation is this right here, the stop, drop, and roll method. And I'm going to trademark that. So don't any of you knuckleheads try to steal that, but use it. Make sure you use it. So in closing with the presentation that we have here is, I want you to understand this message clearly. These words mean nothing without action. So yes, the detailed processes within your business, your day-to-day operations, your payroll, your warehouse management, your inventory system, etc. Those are completely important to deal with. But what I want to drive home is the importance of how you maintain your mindset towards the processes that are important in your business and how they can help create a healthy organization for you. So if you maintaining a clear vision on how your business is running and consistently identifying the areas where you can improve, that is something that should be a daily, reoccurring, every morning you're thinking about it, every night you're thinking about it, okay? Don't step over your issues. Do not step over your issues and leave them for tomorrow. Face them head on, even if it sucks, even if it hurts, if it's uncomfortable. Guaranteed, if you push that till tomorrow, you're going to push it again, and you're going to continue to push it, and 6 months is going to go past, and you're still going to have the same damn issue you had. So nut up, get involved with it, put down what you have to do for 5 minutes, and as a business owner, come up with a plan that makes your healthy organization run smoother. So then you got to take the action. And that's exactly what we're talking about. So it kind of goes hand in hand with those two there. But, you know, your mindset, your vision, and the action all go hand in hand together. If you guys want me to, I could send you this slide. Take a look at it. It might make more sense for you. Share it with your friends. Talk it over with your business people. I mean, it's where we're at today. And we're going to be doing this. How much time are we at here? Anybody keeping track of it? Go through a couple of questions here. So that's the presentation from the Rockwall Veterans Business Alliance. We are a chamber affiliate. So I want to do a shout out to the chamber guys. They're doing a damn good job at trying to keep things motivated and working during this crazy coronavirus mess and keeping the people engaged. Let's see, 36 minutes, boom shakalaka. Look at that, a little bit over, but I'll go over a couple of questions here, go down these comments real quick. Let's see here. Customer focus is key. Kevin Bickerstaff, absolutely. I mean, that's early in the slideshow per se, but you're absolutely right. I mean, without customers, none of us have a business anyways, right? So a process is only good as the leader implementing the process. A system that is fluid and aligns with your processes allows your company to continue to grow effectively. Absolutely, absolutely. Understanding your employees' needs and wants will give you clarity to confirm that your system and process is working. You know what, man, that's spot on right there, because you can make all the changes you want within your company. I could change everything I possibly wanted about my company, but if my employees hate it, you really think that they're going to go into their client's home and be the best representation of Black Level AV? Absolutely not. So hiring is one of the most arduous processes. Yeah. Yeah, it can cost a ton of money and energy. Yeah, for sure. Redbeard, aka Mr. Sean Kirkland, says learn from your failures. Yep. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys spending the afternoon with me. We're going to be doing this every Thursday, so we'll keep you guys posted. We'll let you know Tuesday or Wednesday before the Thursday that we do this, what the topic is and who's going to be involved with it. Appreciate you guys staying with me through this. So get out there, kick ass, take names, and remember, your processes are important and your business is important. So put the same amount of attention into the processes that you do your business and you'll be good to go. So hope you all have a great afternoon. Thanks a lot.